What's going on? Happy Monday. January the 9th. It is Black Friday in the NFL, the day after the regular season's over. All kinds of happenings are going on in the National Football League. Let's jump right into it. The Cardinals just announced that Cliff Kingsbury, 10 months after signing an extension, gone from the Cardinals. Steve Keim is also stepping away. He wants to focus on his health. They were kind of tied at the hip a little bit, so not a terrible surprise. But the Cardinals now with an opening, very, very high-profile job, obviously, but really interesting because you have Kyler Murray coming back from his injury, his surgery, do a lot of money. So can you kind of revamp that team? J.J. Watt is gone. They got a lot of pieces in play, but they have really, really underachieved the last 2 years. That's why Kingsbury is out of there. Kingsbury, being an offensive mind, what's he going to do? There were rumors that he might go be back with Sean McVay over in LA, be kind of on the offensive side there. But Sean McVay is trying to decide what he's doing with his future as well. So there's tons of things up in the air. One thing that is confirmed, this story just came out, Bill Belichick will be back for his 24th season with the New England Patriots. He finished 8-9. Nobody's satisfied with that. That's not our goal. We need to improve that. All of us, accountability everywhere, starting with me, coaching staff, players, each unit. There are things that we will address. We'll process the start of that later today. So Belichick will be back. He's going to have a meeting with Robert Kraft, as he always does. But basically, at the end of the day, 329 career victories. Bill Belichick is going to be back. So the question is, who's going to be offensive coordinator? They held that really close to the vest, and then it ended up being Matt Patricia at the last minute, calling plays, their offensive struggle. Mac Jones kind of digressed this year, took a step back from where he was last year. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with a lot of those happenings out in New England. The Houston Texans come here to Indianapolis, and somehow in a big tickle fest, they beat the Colts. Right after that, Lovie Smith does a press conference. I expect to be back. I'll be here. Can't wait. Gone. He's out. So now, the official statement, they were 3-13-1 in his first season here. David Culley only got one season last year. Smith was the defensive coordinator. They kept him on. And here we are 2 years later. Both those guys are gone. We're grateful for Smith's leadership and character. We wish him nothing but the best moving forward. We understand the results have not been what we hoped for. We're committed to building a program that produces long-term sustainable success. Our fans and city deserve a team they could be proud of. So we'll see. Nick Caserio gets to pick his third head coach in 3 years. It is amazing that he is still the general manager because they have stunk under his regime. So we'll see what happens there. The Colts here in Indianapolis, everybody is cleaning out their locker days. So we're going to get some quotes from those guys here in a few minutes. Dan Pease, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, longtime defensive coordinator, all over the place, 73 years old. Dean Pease, I'm sorry. He has retired from football, 73 years old. Worked together with Coach Arthur Smith in Tennessee. So that's obviously an opening. We'll see what happens there. But he's one of those guys that has just coached forever, has a lot of great prestige around the league. So see what happens with that as well. Let's see. Who else? All right, Carolina Panthers have still got their opening. They are... Steve Wilkes, the interim coach, is scheduled to have his interview. Jim Caldwell, the former Lions and Colts head coach, is going to have an interview as well in Carolina. Defensive coordinator for the Browns, Brian Flores, the Steelers senior defensive assistant coach, has been requested. Jared Mayo, the Patriots linebacker coach, both of those interviews have been requested to fill the opening in the defensive coordinator role for the Browns. Denver Broncos, they've been active. All of a sudden yesterday, Sean Payton came out on Fox and really Fox did a great job in that pregame show asking him the questions. Hey, what's up? What's going on? You're rumored out there. He said he's looking for stability in the ownership and a good opportunity. Well, he has it sounds like he is officially with the Saints because he's still under contract. So it sounds like the Saints and Broncos have talked about that trade if he would want to go to Denver, a trade would have to be completed, and he has basically going to have a scheduled interview there. Ivero, the defensive coordinator for the Broncos, they scheduled a head coach with him. The Jim Harbaugh news, they've scheduled an interview with him as well, obviously from Michigan. Raheem Morris, the Rams defensive coordinator, there's been a request for that. Sean Payton, Dan Quinn, the Cowboys defensive coordinator, request for that. And D'Amico Ryans, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, a request there. So if you're looking at that, Harbaugh's got experience. Raheem Morris has got experience. Payton's got experience. Quinn's got experience. Ryan and Ivero do not have head coaching experience, but they're going to be hot names. Ivero kind of cooled off there at the end of the season, but D'Amico Ryans is going to be a name all over the place. The Tennessee Titans looking for a general manager. Rand Carthon, the 49ers defensive director of player personnel, has been requested. Ryan Cowden, which is the VP of personnel of the Titans, they're going to interview him. Adam Peters, 49ers assistant general manager, has been requested for that. And then Monty Ossenfort, I cannot talk, the director of player personnel for the Titans, he's going to interview for that position as well. Cliff Kingsbury fired, 4-13 season, just 1 year after he signed his extension through 2027. Matt Rule, Phil Snow, they were fired before. Defensive coordinator Joe Woods was fired today, relieved of his duties. Nathaniel Hackett a few weeks ago. Lovie Smith. The Colts are still looking, or they're going to be looking. Frank Reich, Marcus Brady are gone. John Robinson, the general manager of the Titans. So kind of look at, I'm just looking at NFL.com. They've got a nice, really good list there of what is going on with everybody. So that's kind of your overview high up. Let's look here real quick. I'm gonna jump on the Twitter here in a few minutes and see what is what's really happening. Aaron Rodgers was really vague last night coming off the field. He and let's take a look here. Money's an issue. It's not anything. Him coming off the field last night looked very, very kind of surreal, kind of taking it all in, was not exchanging jerseys with anyone. I don't think they do that a lot in Green Bay anyway, but yeah, anyway. So Harbaugh is going to interview with the Broncos. Rap Sheet was just on with McAfee and said that Michigan can make all this go away. They could just give Harbaugh a bunch of money and say, you're going to be the next Bo Schembechler and come do this. And Michigan's kind of hesitant to do that, which is kind of strange. He's taken them to the Final Four 2 years in a row. So we'll see what happens there. It kind of sounds like he's ready to move on. So we'll see what happened there. Matt LaFleur goes off on Quay Walker. Quay Walker. I cannot talk today. Quay Walker last night. DeAndre Swift from the Lions got hurt, was laying there. Everybody circled around. The Lions trainers came out and kind of just put their hand up to move everybody away. Quay Walker from the Packers pushed one of the personnel out there, one of the medical people, and got thrown out of the game. Absolutely the most stupid thing ever. Matt LaFleur, the Packers coach, said, I have a much higher standard for our players than to do something silly like that. We've had a guy ejected twice. I don't think I've ever seen that in my career. I take that personally, and it's unacceptable. So he's a first-round pick out of Georgia. He can't get thrown out of games. You just can't. So we'll see what their Browns say they fired Bernie Kosar over a gambling incident. After wrapping up the regular season with the loss to the Steelers, the Browns released a statement, decision to fire radio voice and former quarterback Bernie Kosar. Earlier this week, we were notified Bernie that per a league policy, we were required to remove him from our pregame radio coverage for the season finale after he violated the NFL gambling policy by placing a bet on an NFL game. So that's going to happen a lot more now that all of this it's becoming more legal in more states. Obviously, it just became legal in Ohio, so that came up. But anyway, let's take a look here. Those are the big those are the big news. The Cliff Kingsbury thing is huge right now. Who's going to take over there? And then you got your draft to look at. You got the Bears first. You got the Texans second. Cardinals, Colts. So the Cardinals and Colts, actually 3 of the top 4, you got job openings. So it's going to be really, really interesting to who goes where. There's just a lot of kind of jockeying around a little bit for everything. So now we're going to come in here locally, Indianapolis. If I'm picking in my dream scenario, I want Chris Ballard gone. I want to get a new general manager. Obviously, he gets to help pick the coach, but I love Sean Payton and I love Jim Harbaugh. They both have won. They've both done what they need to do to get to the Super Bowl. They've both built and kind of rebuilt teams. They've both are real coaches. They both are real adults, and they can take this team to the next level. I don't think they're terribly far off. I think there's a lot of money wrapped into players that are really, really underachieving, and I really think that there are money wrapped into players that can just not go above where they are right now. So there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of things have to happen, but those are my 2 choices. What I think will happen is Chris Ballard will come back and Jeff Saturday will be the coach. And that stinks. I don't want that at all, but we'll see. Okay, so now some quotes real quick before we wrap up. Matt Ryan, 37 years old, under contract with the Colts, says he's not committed to any 2023 decision. Doesn't feel that retirement is coming anytime soon. He says he feels great, feels like he can play and will not need surgery. Shaquille Leonard says he feels totally different post-back surgery versus the one in June. Feels like the nerves are firing again. No sensation in the calf, the back area that he had last off season. He gives credit to Jeff Saturday for pushing him to shut it down, opting for another surgery. Paris Campbell says it was he wants to be back. It was an absolute amazing year for him. He played all 17 games. This is his 4th year, and he's never even gotten past week 3, I think. So big ups for Paris Campbell, and he was a really, really decent receiver for them most of the season. Who else we got? Anybody else here? Let's see. Jonathan Taylor says he will chat with the doctors to see if surgery is necessary for his ankle. He has 1 year left in his rookie deal. He's going to be trade bait, I have a feeling. I think that I would like them to re-sign him, but I think it's going to be a really, really big question mark moving forward with that. Let's take a look and see. Those are kind of just a few of the quotes coming out all over, kind of all over the world of the NFL. Sorry, looking to see what other news has been broken. Jared Goff finished with 324 straight passes without an interception. 5th longest streak in NFL history. Did not throw an interception in the last 9 starts of his year. So what a resurgence for Jared Goff. I mean, they were this close. They were so close to making the playoffs. What a turnaround for them. Okay. Sorry, just taking a look and seeing what other notes are out there. Brock Purdy has absolutely lit everything up for the 49ers. My Super Bowl pick is the 49ers and the Bengals. I think that they're going to get the job done. So yeah, I mean, we're just kind of looking at all the news. I think we kind of talked about everything. We have the playoffs coming up this week. We're going to talk about that as we get there. Yeah, we already talked about the Steelers requesting. I'm sorry, the Browns going to talk with Brian Flores, the Cardinals and their changes. Here, this is from Adam Schefter. Here are all the coaches that went from college to the NFL. Ready for this? Butch Davis, Steve Spurrier, Nick Saban, Bobby Petrino, Jim Harbaugh went 44-19. Greg Schiano, Doug Marrone, Chip Kelly 26-21. Bill O'Brien 52-48. Cliff Kingsbury, Matt Rule, and Urban Meyer. Only a couple have had winning seasons. So, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. Taking a look here. Okay, well, we kind of went through the list, right? I mean, we went through who's out there. Now all these reports are coming of all these guys being requesting requesting interviews. Raheem Morris, the Rams defensive coordinator, going to the Broncos would be really, really interesting. I think they kind of want to make a bigger splash than that. I think they're all in for Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh. I think with the new ownership, they've got their quarterback locked up. They want to turn everything around. Before this last weekend, I read they put new turf down because they didn't like how it looked and how it was treating the players and their bodies. So this ownership group is really interesting with Denver. They're ready to spend some money. I think Steve Wilkes will get the job with the Panthers. I think they'll go through everything, but I think that'll be a head coaching job off the board. I think Jeff Saturday comes to the Colts. I think that's going to be one off the board. The Cardinals are going to be a really interesting one. The Broncos, obviously. And then I think Sean McVay will step away. It really sounds like he is kind of done and wants to step back for a minute. And they're in a terrible position. They have no draft picks, terrible cap situation, older roster members here and there, and have really decent divisions. Seattle is better than what they should have been. So we'll see what happens with the Rams. But, yeah, it's going to be really, really... the Gerard Mayo going to the defensive coordinator and Brian Flores. Neither of them are they're just position coaches. Brian Flores obviously was the coach in Miami. So either of them taking that job with with Cleveland as the defensive coordinator would be a big step. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Sounds like kind of the firings have kind of calmed down a little bit. I would love to hear something about my Colts, about with Chris Ballard, general manager, but nothing so far. So let's take one more quick peek. Let's see if anything's coming through here. Quay Walker talked at length with the Lions trainer that he shoved. Said he hopes that he can be forgiven. He knows that was a big mistake on his end. Well, of course. Steve Wilkes is speaking to the media right now. He is obviously talking about how they ended down the stretch, but I think he's deserved the job, right? I think that they've done a good job. Everybody's got those quotes out now. We think we can beat anybody. Who's a quarterback's worst nightmare. All kinds of fun stuff. So we'll keep checking in through the day. Make sure you give us a follow on the Twitterverse at Daily Craig Indy. We're going to be there sharing some stuff as we see it going on. But that's it. We're going to go wrap it up. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you all. We'll tune in tomorrow. Hopefully we can get out. Hopefully tomorrow we can get back on camera, talk a little bit more about what's going on. So we'll see what's going on. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Let me know. Comment below. I got a question for you. Which opening is the best? And everybody in the world is doing that right now. I'm just going to go with Colts, Broncos, Cardinals. Of those three, which opening is the best? Let me know. Talk to you later.